Republican Congressman Andrew Clyde and Buddy Carter, both from Georgia. They join us now. Thank you so much. I'll start with you first, Congressman Clyde. How do we make sure that we can try to not rein in the spending, because the spending's already been done, but at least, at the very least, target the spending so we can maximize the impact and minimize the disaster it's going to have on the economy for everyday working Americans?
Well, thank you, Joe, for having me on. Yeah, that's going to be a very difficult thing because the Democrats control the House, and they're going to control the spending here. It's not going to benefit any Republican districts in a very large way. I think that has pretty much been signaled by the administration. You know, they are spending debt. I mean, of this $1.2 trillion, we have $250 million, you have $250 billion of it that is going to be debt. So it's going to increase our debt. You know, the government is drunk on spending other people's money here. You know, I say they're addicted to opium, OPM, that's other people's money. And we've got to become more fiscally responsible. I think the Republicans in 2022 are going to take over the House, and I think we're going to put ourselves back on track. But we just have to stand against this, especially with the budget reconciliation coming out this coming week that supposedly we're going to be voting on. We're going to be dealing with it. You know, this is something that has to be stopped. That's a $4.5 trillion bill if you really look at it. So this is bad for our nation. It's bad for our economy. It's just bad policy overall.
Absolutely. Congressman Carter, I want to come to you because to that end, you've got Americans on Main Street hurting. Again, $400 million a day additional being spent on fuel versus where we were a year ago because this administration decided to shut down pipelines at home, green light pipelines abroad, and figure out that we could fill the vacuum by begging OPEC to do for us what we have the power to do for ourselves.
Absolutely. And all this is going to do is add to the already raging inflation that we're experiencing. And don't forget, you mentioned the 61% increase in gas prices. I mean, people are paying more at the pump now. They're going crazy about this. We got natural gas that has increased in price and is going to increase even more if the Democrats are able to pass this $3.5 trillion tax and spend bill that they want to pass, because they have a methane tax in there. It will actually tax natural gas and add more to the price, which people use for heating their homes. I mean, and look, this Thanksgiving, this Turkey Day is going to be one of the most expensive that we've ever had. Turkey is up 27%. You've got carrots up 47%. You got
even the pumpkin pie, Congressman.
Pumpkin pie up 20%.
I mean, look,
all of these things are just adding to the inflation. And what is inflation? It's nothing more than a tax. And who does it impact the most? It impacts the middle class and the working class. Those are the ones who can least afford it, and those are the ones who are going to be impacted the most.
To this point, if we can't get people to agree on spending, most assuredly we should be able to get people to agree that the threats of a 21st century world cannot go unaddressed. We just saw our embassy in Yemen invaded. We still have people there being held hostage. We've got China effectively getting ready to take over Taiwan. We've got Russia effectively with tanks ready to roll into Ukraine. We are doing nothing. We're practically saying nothing. Congressman, about 20 seconds to both of you, 30 seconds max. How do we make sure that we can get a coalition of the willing in Congress to actually add some stability to the world before this thing goes completely off the rails? Congressman Clyde, I'll start with you.
Joe, we've got to show a backbone here, and this administration has not done that. They utterly failed in Afghanistan. You know, we have got to be able to show strength to the world, and that is not happening. And I think the world sees it. They see this administration is very, very weak and not willing to stand up. And that's the real issue across the entire world. Our reputation has suffered dearly because of it. And it's not going to get any better with this administration.
Absolutely. Congressman Carter, last word to you, about 20 seconds here. How do you get your members across the aisle in Congress to deal with these foreign threats before those foreign threats become an American nightmare?
We have to have energy independence. I mean, we're asking OPEC to pump more oil So that because we need it, that is ridiculous. Mike Pompeo, when he was Secretary of State, made the point that when we had energy dominance, it was such a great asset for us on the world stage. Now, as Andrew has pointed out, this president, this administration is viewed as weak and incompetent, and America is viewed as weak and incompetent. And you are right, Joe. We, as members of Congress on both sides of the aisle, we're the ones who are going to have to get together and say, look, we're not going to let this happen. We're not going to let America fail.
Absolutely. Congressman Andrew Clyde, Congressman Buddy Carter, God bless you both. We'll talk to you again soon.
Thank you, Joe.